Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that hits right at home for anyone who loves firing up the grill. We are talking about grease trap mistakes that clog summer outdoor kitchens. Let's get right into it. So, picture this. It is peak summer barbecue season. Your outdoor kitchen is in full swing, and your cooking volume is just surging. I mean, you're cooking more burgers, ribs, and steaks than at any other time of the year, right? But beneath that beautiful patio setup, unseen trouble might be brewing in your plumbing. So what ruins a summer barbecue faster than rain? Well, I'll give you a hint. It's incredibly messy, highly disruptive, and it can be severely costly. We're talking about a full-blown plumbing backup smack in the middle of your entertaining. Imagine you've got a yard full of hungry guests, the grill is sizzling, and suddenly, the outdoor sink starts backing up with this foul, greasy sludge. It's an absolute nightmare scenario, and as we'll see, it often comes down to just one misused component. Okay, so let's quickly define what we're looking at here, a grease trap. It's a device designed specifically to capture fats, oils, and grease before they can travel any further into your plumbing system. You can think of it as a vital, protective barrier for your pipes. Now, the core conflict here is that while these devices are absolutely fantastic at their job, during heavy summer grilling, they can easily become completely overloaded. The sheer volume of fats that drop off your meats can quickly push this protective barrier way past its limits. And here's the thing. Your outdoor kitchen is at a much higher risk than your indoor one. Indoor kitchens typically have a fairly predictable singular usage pattern, but an outdoor setup, man, it is a hub of chaotic activity. You're grilling, you're washing heavy utensils, you're dumping coolers full of ice melt, and you're washing down sticky leftover marinades, and you're often funneling all of that heavy traffic into a single drain path. It's kind of like taking a massive 10-lane highway of debris and forcing it through a single toll booth. That bottleneck vulnerability is exactly why these systems end up failing. But this vulnerability doesn't usually turn into a disaster totally on its own. It requires a little accidental help from us. So let's look at the 3 common mistakes that cause summer blockages. These are the specific everyday user habits that take an already stressed plumbing system and just push it right over the edge into a day-ruining disaster. Mistake number 1, pouring grease directly down the drain. This quote here perfectly captures the deception of grease. What looks like liquid when it's hot can solidify as it cools, sticking to trap walls and downstream pipes. You might think, hey, the fat off my grill pan is a hot liquid right now. It'll just smoothly wash away. But the source material clearly shows that even seemingly small amounts of rendered fat accumulate significantly over time. The second that hot liquid hits the cooler plumbing, it hardens immediately. It acts literally just like plaque in an artery. Which brings us to mistake number 2, skipping regular pump-outs or cleanings. A grease trap's one and only job is to physically hold the grease. And that means that collected material has to be manually removed. A lot of homeowners wait until there's an obvious problem before they even think about cleaning their outdoor trap. But here's the reality check, guys. If you are waiting for a slow drain or a funky smell to prompt a cleaning, the trap is already way beyond its intended capacity. It's already failing. And then we have mistake number 3 on our list, letting food scraps and solids enter the trap. This is where our typical scrape and rinse routines totally betray us. We often think, well, as long as I scrape the big pieces off a plate, a quick rinse in the outdoor sink is totally fine. But as the data shows, that routine is highly deceptive and deeply, deeply harmful to the system's longevity. The specific type of debris we're talking about from those rinses is incredibly damaging. We're talking charred bits from the grill grates, papery onion skins, small bones, thick spice rub residue, and heavy batter. When these specific BBQ remnants enter the drain, they don't just flow smoothly through. No way. They get caught up in the solidifying grease we just talked about earlier. They add a massive physical load to the trap, essentially turning a device meant for controlled grease interception into a dense, solid clog. So what are the simple prevention steps for peak season? I know, we've painted a pretty grim picture of plumbing disasters here, but it's time to pivot. The fantastic news is that these massive, expensive blockages are entirely preventable. You don't need a degree in plumbing to keep your outdoor kitchen running perfectly. You just need to implement a few incredibly simple behavioral changes to protect that grease trap. Let's walk through this proactive checklist. Step 1. Collect your used grease in a heat-safe container and use proper waste disposal channels. Seriously, do not let it near the drain. Step 2. Wipe down your grills and prep surfaces with a paper towel before you even think about washing them in the sink. That physically removes a ton of heavy fats. And step 3. Strain or scrape all food particles from the sinks. By just putting a physical strainer in your outdoor sink, you create a roadblock for those charred bits and onion skins we talked about. This also requires a massive mindset shift. You need to maintain the trap based on usage, not the calendar. Don't just say to yourself, oh, I clean it once every August. If you're hosting cookouts every single weekend in July, that trap is working overtime. You should be scheduling your inspections and pump outs more often during those high-frequency stretches. In fact, doing a quick capacity check right before a massive holiday weekend, that is the absolute smartest move you can make. But listen, even with stellar habits, you need to know the signals, the early warning signs you should never ignore. Look for slow drainage around the outdoor sink. If water is pooling up, pay attention. Listen for gurgling sounds coming from the pipes. Watch out for unpleasant odors hanging around your grill station, or, worst of all, actual standing water. These are your system's loud cries for help. If you address these specific symptoms quickly, you can stop the issue right in its tracks before the trap reaches maximum capacity and shuts down your event. Now, if you've done all this and you're still having issues, always check your specific trap's capacity and follow the manufacturer's guidance, because every system varies slightly. And here is a really important takeaway from the source material. If you're experiencing repeated summer clogs despite following all these preventative best practices, a professional inspection might be necessary. A pro can determine if the root cause isn't your behavior, but actually an undersized trap volume, a poorly angled plumbing slope, or maybe even a flawed installation. And this brings us to a final, incredibly important question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Are your post-BBQ cleaning habits setting a trap for your next cookout? I want you to really think about your typical routine right after the guests go home. By slightly adjusting your behavior, keeping solids and hot grease out of the drain, and maintaining the system based on your actual cooking volume, you're essentially buying peace of mind for all your future summer events. Thanks so much for joining me today. Keep those habits clean and keep your summer entertaining flowing perfectly.